I mean, I'm looking out there in nature right now at the birds in the trees. They're not stressing about, trying to pay bills and where they're going to get enough money for their next meal or twigs for their nest. They're just there. They're just living. But even nature, nature is cruel. I mean, lions eat the antelope alive. I could go out here in the ocean and there's bull sharks in the sea. I could get bitten in half. So even
Earth is hell. Now, what do I mean by that exactly? People are speculating on the internet, and it's not just belief systems like Gnosticism that talk about this, it's also the fact that we potentially could be living in a simulation, and a simulated reality could be designed to influence people and to make people suffer. It might not seem the most obvious example of hell like you saw in ancient paintings with hellfire and brimstone, but it could be more of a mundane version of hell that slowly strips you away of everything you have, creates a pattern of stress and abuse that a lot of people are waking up to. With that being said, let's talk about it today. Earth, is it really a hell realm?
Do you believe in hell? Do you believe in heaven? If you believe in a heaven, you have to believe in a hell. But let's talk about what hell actually is. Because when you die, you're not going to hell. You're not being judged in the way that you were taught that this is going to happen. We judge ourselves. Our soul judges ourselves from a place of perspective on the other side. But what I believe hell is, and I literally got this download.
What she just said is kind of interesting because maybe that actually is why we have sort of a moral compass and just a sense of morality in general. It kind of keeps you in check. It's like your soul keeping you in check.
The other day, yesterday in fact, what I believe hell is the constant reincarnation cycle. Hell is here. We are in it, okay? We are in it. If you have been cycling through painful situations, you are literally burning yourself. You are literally getting out of hell. But that's not the end of it. It's like there's no reprieve. You die, you come back. 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 Constant on the fucking hamster wheel of hell, and the situations don't improve. You're not learning. Your soul literally gets locked into the karmic cycle, and it keeps repeating the same traumas, the same abuse. You don't get out. That's eternal damnation, okay? If your soul has chosen to awaken, you're getting out of this. So do the work as you're being called to do it. Love one another as God has loved you. Light the path for others. Be of service to others. Take accountability. Make amends. Accept what you cannot change. Have humility. Understand that your soul is controlling your body, your higher self. It wants you to ascend and end this ongoing cycle of karmic creation. End the pain. You are getting an opportunity in this life to free yourself, to have eternal rest if that is what you desire. And if you desire never to come back here, if you desire this to be your last lifetime, it's probably because it is. All right? Don't stay in hell. There's a path out of hell. That is what Jesus came to teach us. He did not die for our sins. People that believe that think that they have a permission slip to behave as poorly as they want and say, my sins are forgiven. Wrong. Wrong. That is misinformation. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you, meaning you need to do the work to get out of hell. That is your salvation. You have to participate in that. It is not automatically given. All right. Hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully we all go to heaven together, but that needs to be found here before you die.
So her belief system is very much in line with Gnosticism. Now, there is Gnostic Christians as well. Gnosticism is kind of like an interesting baseline to kind of pull different ideas and beliefs from, because a lot of it's about ascending to like a higher power, and whatever that is up to speculation. It could be God, it could just be like an energy source, but because of the way life is on Earth, people believe that we are living in a hell realm, which is kind of scary to some people, but to other people, it kind of makes sense.
The hardest thing for people to understand is that this realm is a hell realm, that we are in a soul trap. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person, But being born into sin, as the Christians tell you, right? The church tells you that. It means you're born into sign, which is a lower vibration. It is not harmonic. It is the material realm. It is not sustainable. Spirit is infinite and sustainable, but not the material world, not the flesh. This is where you have entropy and everything decays faster than the rate of regeneration. That's why the so-called devil can play here with us, why he needs something to play with. And that's why they encourage you to have children and keep bringing souls into this world so that they can play with you. And they make your prison look like this beautiful place, you know, where everybody wants to go on vacation and, you know, hang out with the animals and everything. And so there are aspects of that reality that are really nice, you know. But ultimately, we have to fight our temptation and our lust because those things are so prevalent in this reality. When you get into the higher realms, you don't have lust. You don't have desire and craving and attachment to things, attachment to the personality, the identity. All that's gone. It's not to say that having a child is a terrible thing and it's demonic or anything, but it is satanic in that Satan is the ego, the lower ego, the animal nature that rules over the material world, and we bring children into that world. That's why it's called satanic. It's a blood sacrifice. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But people don't want to hear that because immediately it goes against every lie they were told, right? Every belief that they had, because they associate goodness and purity with being a human being, when it's very clear that human beings are not good or pure in any way. We try, when we come into this world, to be a good person. We try to purify the mind and body, but it's very difficult to do that. And that's why you have people like Yeshua, like all of these masters that came along that were from the East that were trying to teach people, look, this is how you become self-actualized. You realize that the self is just an illusion. Your identity is an illusion. You know, you want to do these practices of self-abnegation so that you can purify your mind and body. And if you choose to, you can become a monk. So you don't have children. You don't get married. You don't participate in those worldly things because that is the world of the demiurge. And we don't want to be that. We want to be one with the Father in heaven. So we're going to pray and fast and meditate, and we're going to purify every part of our body and wear specific kinds of clothing like linen and wool. We're not going to mix the two, cotton and linen or anything like that, because they understood frequencies. You know, that's what that was about. They were trying to lift the soul up to a higher frequency while it was here in this physical body. When a soul comes into this world, it's a trap. And we forget. If it wasn't a trap, we wouldn't forget. We'd come here fully conscious with all of our memories intact of where we came from. But we are lured here by the Pan Piper, you know, by the frequency, the music player, right? The satanic lower demiurge energy or consciousness that creates this world and says, I am the God over everything in this world. It's mine, 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 me, me, me.
That might be one of the reasons why children don't remember really anything until they're about like 3.5 years old. Everything is kind of a blur because it's like your soul is trying to figure out what just happened as we enter this world. It's interesting to hear her explanations as to why this life and just being born as a human in like a physical form is a sign of decay immediately and just, you know, a sign of hell and being in hell because you are burdened with all of these desires and wants that if you didn't have a physical body, you wouldn't need. That's why monks and priests are usually so detached from this earthly realm because they're trying to get rid of all of the wants of this world so they can ascend to a higher power. And it makes sense. It's not just one religion. Even like Christianity all the way to Buddhism, they believe this to some extent, right?
Hi guys, so I'm going to speak about a topic that I think a lot of people have been thinking but don't actually say. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I haven't outrightly come out and said it. But I do believe that this reality, this simulation, is some kind of hell realm. And it doesn't take a genius to work out why I would say that. There surely can't be many people out there, apart from if you're in like the New Age cult, the fake positivity cult, where, you know, you want to pretend and bend this place into something that it's not. But I mean, look around you. Wars, I'm looking at what's going on in Venezuela at the moment, children dying. Look at what the people in power are doing, putting chemicals in our food, water, air, what they do to children, mocking us. The fact that we have to work for a living, we have to pay for food, pay for a roof over our head. I mean, I'm looking out there in nature right now at the birds in the trees. They're not stressing about, you know, trying to pay bills and where they're going to get enough money for their next meal or twigs for their nest. They're just there. They're just living. But even nature, you know, nature is cruel. I mean, lions eat the antelope alive. I could go out here in the ocean and there's bull sharks in the sea. I could get bitten in half.
So what he just said is probably one of my biggest holy crap moments when I thought about it. So you look at nature, and yes, nature, you have to consume in order to keep your existence. But you just look at some of the designs in nature, while they are fascinating and beautiful in a certain light, you also look at things like sharks. They're literally just eating machines. They're just gigantic mouths that just eat everything in sight when it's hungry, when it feels like it. And we are in the same earth, the same realm as these beasts. Now, does that make any sense in a godly kingdom? If this place is truly heaven and we're supposed to have heaven on earth, would we have animals like that in the sea?
When you look at nature, you know, everything needs to consume something else to survive. Humans do it, animals do it, birds do it. It's like we're in a reality where everything consumes itself. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that talk about, oh, you know, have a job to keep you busy, have a job to keep you, but even if you have a job or you don't have a job, you're still in a system of slavery. And I mean, just you look at the human body and how people suffer. Even if you look after yourself, eventually you're going to succumb to old age or illness. Your body's going to decay. And not only that, some people have long drawn out deaths which can last years, where they're in chronic pain. And on top of that, you have to watch the people that you love decay, get old, go through chronic illness, suffer. And it's just, you know, don't get me wrong, there are some good things about this place.
There has to be good. Like, if you were going to design a realm to be hell, you can't just make it so obviously hell. People would panic. They would not want to stay in this realm. They would do everything they can to get off of this realm. You have to make some things in life desirable, pleasurable, beautiful. You know, you kind of have to have, you know, pain and sadness to experience true love as well, right? It's like you have to have the highs and the extreme lows.
But the overarching theme is fear, suffering, anxiety, worry, pain. And even when things are going well in life, you know, you're always looking over your shoulder, aren't you? You're always looking over for something to, you know, rug pull you, or, you know what I mean? There's always something. We can never just really relax into life. And there is a reason for all of this, a deeper reason which doesn't get spoken about often. And that's because we are also a food source. Our fear, anxiety, sadness, depression, pain, suffering, that is also food for beings that we can't see, beings that are just outside of our visible sight in the fourth dimension, negative entities.
Now, I've never talked about that particular subject. If you guys want me to chime in on the entities from other dimensions that are influencing this world at some point, you want me to react to videos on that and talk about it, let me know for a future video, because that one could be a really dark, deep dive.
There are many different types of entity races that are feeding on human energy. As humans, we're incredibly powerful. We're incredibly powerful batteries. So we create a lot of energy. And, you know, people have spoken about reptilian entities, demonic entities. Like I say, there's many other entity races, dragon entities, spider entities, mantis entities, greys, serpent entities. I mean, the list really goes on. And so, basically, not only is this a hell realm, it's also a farm. And we are the cows, we are the cattle, if you like, in the pen, and they're milking us for all these low frequency feelings that we experience through this realm that is basically set up for trauma and suffering. And because you can't physically see them, people believe that they don't exist. When actually, as humans, we're basically blind to everything around us. There is a lot of stuff happening in the same space. You know, this is what ghosts are. They're coming in and out of our dimension, and that's why we occasionally get exposed to them. And this is the same for entities. They are there, and everyone has these attachments. It's not just world leaders or heads of corporations, heads of state. We're all being influenced by these entities. And we're all being milked like cows by these entities. And their caviar, the food that they like best, is all the fear, anxiety, pain, suffering. And so this is why world events are constantly tailored to generate that food source. This is why we're constantly at war. There's constant famines. We're constantly kept in a scarcity mindset in a world which has plenty. There shouldn't be anyone that's struggling or starving or what have you. And you turn on the news, it's 24/7 negativity. Like, Can you guys remember a story on like mainstream media that was positive or uplifting? I mean, it's just constant fear. The next illness, the next the climate change. You know, we're all gonna roast it. I mean, I was born in '79. We were told in the '80s that we were going to burn because there was a hole in the ozone layer. Now that didn't happen, and a lot of this stuff never happens. And you know, they're telling us that the ice is melting, and then you look at different points on the planet, and the sea level has not changed for hundreds of years. So they're constantly trying to generate that power source, and so. Yes, we're in this hell realm, if you like. But it's not because we've been bad or anything like that. It's because it's been designed this way. Because we are a food source for these beings. And their biggest fear is being exposed. Their biggest fear is knowing that they even exist. They manipulate from the shadows. And they've created this world, or this world has been overlaid in such a way that they can generate maximum food source, especially the body. The more I think about the body, you know, people say the body's incredible, the body's amazing. The body's flawed. You know, you get a toothache. Like, why? Have you ever asked yourself, why is the pain so excruciating when you have a toothache? Like, why does it need to be like that? And there are other things, and then it's all linked to something else. You get a toothache, you get a headache, and then you start to feel nauseous. I mean, It's never ending. And that's just a toothache. You know, you imagine these people that have got terminal illnesses. And so if you're asking questions as to why things are like they are, this is the reason. Because you're on a hell realm.
Yeah, if you really think about your body, and while there's great pleasure that can be had with your body, there's also an immense amount of pain that your body can receive through your nerves, through just stress, through pain, through psychosis, through anxiety. And this is why a lot of people are feeling like this could be a hell realm where we're kind of harvest for our energy. But I want your thoughts about this down below in the comment section, guys. What are your thoughts about Earth today? Is it a hell realm, or can we actually make heaven on Earth? Leave your thoughts about it down below in the comment section, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.